Good morning everyone, welcome to another SnowRunner clip. We pick up here where I'm actually already travelled a short distance. Just passing through this warehouse on the way to the next warehouse where I have to pick up some steel beams. Now this truck is the Atom. Great truck. This one's set up to carry the equivalent of 3 pallets. It's a great truck, but it is somewhat, you could say it's top heavy, but it's probably not. It's more the terrain that is more the issue, but as you'll see shortly, the things that can happen during a task, how much you rely on the winch and also the abilities of the truck. Just checking the map again to see where I have to go. Bit of damage there from that outcrop. You just can't take this terrain for granted. And there we have it, the classic rollover on its side. Sadly, this happens on a reasonably regular basis. So with this truck I don't have an autonomous winch, so because the engine is stalled I have no winch at all. So now we're on the way to where it rolled over in the Royal BM. This would probably be one of the most used trucks. Another reason why I leave a lot of trucks wherever I finish a task, because cases like this I can have another vehicle not that far away so that I can winch it back up onto its wheels. Now we just change trucks and continue on. Too sure what I was doing there. This task I'm actually clearing a landslide that's blocked the road, so the final thing I need is a load of steel beams. That small depression there caused me a lot of grief. I actually cut the video there because I just spent so much time trying to get over it, but because the front of the truck's low, it just dropped in and sat on the bumper. I couldn't winch it out or do anything. So the only option is to drive over these rocks, which is probably not ideal, but there's just no other way. Scary section there. The tracks are definitely made to be challenging, which is good, I suppose. I mean, that's the whole idea of the game. Here we are at the next warehouse. I always love the small detail, little bits and pieces just scattered around that just add to the realism. Okay, time to load up the steel beams. Quick check of the map. Mainly because I was hoping to find a better way to go where I need to go instead of going back the way I just came. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. A lot of these obstacles are quite directional, what can give you a lot of problems going one way. They're not always the same going back the opposite direction. Excuse me. Quick shortcut. Coming up to this treacherous part. And over we go again. At least I landed on its wheels. So now the task comes of trying to get out of there. It's not looking good at all. It's just a rocky outcrop. Yeah, outcrop is the word, outcrop. Surrounded by walls, except that small path there, which I've decided is the only way out. Trucks do tend to bounce around a lot on these rocks, which causes a lot of problems. Okay, so we're just about there. Sometimes you just got to persevere with these situations. Mainly because the alternative is to start the task from scratch and do it all over again. And as I've found in the past, I can restart it and then crash in the same place again. So there we have it, we've gotten the truck out. So now to try to carefully get around this rock up outcrop, which I managed to do. So now I just want to get over this gutter that's there to some stable ground on the other side, but it's going to cause me some grief as well. Okay, so we've managed that. Now I have to get the load sorted. Lucky enough I left that Royal BM truck where I rolled over before, so it's a quick sprint over to there and grab that truck, and as you'll see, I'm not finished yet. And over we go again. At least this one has an autonomous winch, so it's battery operated and I can get myself out of these predicaments. But it just goes to show you how easy this happens. You could almost say it's a bit of a comedy of errors, but all part of the delivery service. So now I just want to get the truck into position so I can haul that load up with the loading crane. I always try to have a crane on every truck, but unfortunately, depending on the tray you put on the truck, you can't always do that, which is the problem I had with that Atom. I wanted a truck that would take the equivalent of 3 pallets, but to have that bed on the truck, there was no room for the loading crane. I've even had situations where there were no trees close by where I could hook the winch up, so I actually used the crane to push the truck back up on its wheels. At the end of the day, it's whatever works and gets you back going again. Now to cautiously drive that load back over to the other truck. That could have easily ended in disaster right there. I should have swung the load to the opposite side. Stuck once again. Okay. Now we're in business. I think it's pretty cool that you can use all these cranes and so forth to complete tasks. It just adds something to some of the things you have to do instead of just carting stuff from one point to another. The Royal BM is a mod truck, but the Atom is just a stock game truck. Quick refuel from the onboard jerry cans. We're back underway. Excuse me. Cautious this time. It's going this way though. Some of these sections are quite slow going, but in the end it's probably the most efficient way. In a normal gear, a lot of the times you're just spinning and not going anywhere, whereas at least in low range you can get a better grip on the terrain, and it's better fuel consumption wise as well. So you do have to regulate your throttle response, which is hard to do. You're trying to move forward and you tend to always be at full throttle, which is burning fuel, so you have to try to condition yourself to not have full throttle, because it doesn't make any difference, just uses fuel. You still don't get anywhere. It's just a good habit to get into. A lot of the missions it doesn't really make much of a difference, but on some of the tasks the fuel does come into play, so you definitely don't want to waste it. Coming up to the dam. back onto more hospitable terrain. Just coming up to the bridge here that's out. It will be repaired in an upcoming mission, which will make a big difference to be able to use the bridge rather than to have to find tracks going around. But to do that mission, that's why I'm doing this one currently. That's one of the other things you have to do, is work out the order in which is best to do the tasks. Doing this one that I'm on now, by fixing the landslide, will make doing the repairs to that bridge easier, because I'll be able to take that route rather than have to go the long way around. Quick stop for gas. So I can fill the truck and also the jerry cans on the roof rack. Quick check to see where I have to go. Do I take the long route or go to try the shortcuts that I haven't been on before? Take a chance with the shortcut. Sometimes it pays off, other times it doesn't. Good old winch comes into play. Yeah, not going to risk trying to get around there in one hit. Just about at the work site now. See all the boulders and rubble sitting there that's blocking the roadway, if you could call it a roadway. Deliver the beams, and bingo. These road crews work really fast, I can tell you that. So that's cleared that mission. So now I'm just driving down to the port area, as you can see below me. See a pallet there on the right. Left over from the last time I was there and rolled the truck over. And that's pretty much there we have it. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next one.